Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. President Buhari is set to address world leaders for the third time as the United Nations General Assembly of Heads of State and Government kicks off in New York tomorrow. President of the 72nd UN General Assembly challenges leaders to focus more on the people of the world. North Korea and Rohingya crisis to top discussions. The Academic Staff Union of Universities announces conditional suspension of its one-month-old industrial action, asks lecturers to return to classes tomorrow. And once more, North Korea defies the UN, insists on continuing with nuclear program despite sanctions by the world body. Just to quickly remind you that for more on our top stories and others, please visit our website, channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. And log on to m.channelstv.com to watch us on your mobile device, or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. The Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You also have access to the Eyewitness feature, with which you can share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu, and then follow the instructions. Speaking of those pictures, we have some to share with you. We can begin with this one from Olora in Lagos State, showing people whom our Eyewitness reporter says are protesting the alleged blockage of the road into their community. The residents, according to our Eyewitness reporter, are appealing to the state government to prevail on whoever is responsible for this. Still in Lagos is this image from Alakbere area of the state, showing a pedestrian walkway blocked by electric poles. Our Eyewitness reporter is concerned about the safety of pedestrians who are forced to walk across moving vehicles and appealing to the authorities to do something about it. We move on to the electrical hazards of this picture from Benin, the Edo State capital. It shows a child close to a transformer without barricades. Our Eyewitness reporter is worried about the danger that this poses. Finally is this picture from Kanu West local government area of Enugu State, showing the bad state of the road there. Our Eyewitness reporter says this makes movement difficult for motorists and pedestrians and is asking the state government to come to their aid. Thanks a lot for all your pictures, and do send us some more. Now let's stay with our lead story on the UN General Assembly discussions. Our correspondent Gloria Umezuoke is right now at the UN headquarters. Now she spoke to us a short while ago on what she's learning about this global event.
Picked up at the United Nations headquarters ahead of tomorrow's general debate. Out here, a flurry of media houses all set down here in preparation to cover tomorrow's event. The Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to deliver the national address. It was scheduled originally to appear as the number 7 speaker, but we understand that that will move to number 6, which is deemed as a good one for Nigeria. The President is expected to engage robustly with the international community, putting up the successes and challenges. Some of the ministers also today have been meeting in bilateral talks with their counterparts, particularly to move more investors into the country. We know for sure that the Minister of Trade and Investment had an investors forum meeting where he met with his U.S. counterparts on the need for the U.S. to take advantage of the investment opportunities available in Nigeria, urging the U.S. government to really look inside and know perhaps the other challenges to security and so on and so forth. The U.S., we mentioned, is the second highest investor and would like it to, perhaps move up to number 1.
Our correspondent Gloria Umezuoke there at the UN headquarters in New York. Now let's come back home now. The Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, has frowned on proscription of the indigenous people of Biafra by governors of the southeast states and the Army's declaration of the group as a terrorist organization, saying it's unconstitutional and lacks due process. The Senate President in a statement says, quote, "The laws make clear provisions for taking such actions, and without due process being followed, such declaration cannot have effect," end of quote. Senator Saraki says he's sure the president will do the needful by initiating the right process, as it'll go a long way towards demonstrating to the world that Nigeria adheres to the law. The Senate president also commended Nigerians for not allowing the issue to degenerate into a national crisis. Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Makwe Hubung. Makwe.
Hello, Ijoma. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Buratai, is insisting that only the federal government has the jurisdiction to declare the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra wanted. The Army Chief, who is speaking with reporters in Abuja, says the Army is not under any form of threat to leave the southeastern part of the country. General Buratai announced plans by the Nigerian Army to launch special exercises across the country to maintain peace and security.
For some time now, the nation has witnessed cases of insecurity, from cattle rustling in the northwest to activities of Boko Haram in the northeast, and the latest being the agitation for secession by the indigenous people of Biafra. Despite all these, the nation's military authorities promise not to rest on their oars until all forms of terrorism and threat to the nation's existence is worn. At the third quarter conference of the Nigerian Army, a forum set aside to appraise the performance of the Army in peace operations, the Chief of Army Staff appraised the role of the military in calming the situation in the southeast, explaining that only the federal government has the ability to declare IPOB leader Kanu wanted.
This is what I want to believe the federal government will take the final decision on that. There are guidelines, is provided in the Act, on the Anti-Terrorism Act, so I'm sure the relevant government agencies and authority will take the appropriate step, whether to arrest, whether to do any other action, and we will receive the appropriate directive from the authorities.
Back in the hall, the Chief of Army Staff addresses his officers on how well they have done in maintaining security across the country, as well as new ways to tackle insecurity. One mechanism to be deployed is closer collaboration with other security agencies through the training of 3,000 personnel from the Nigerian Police and Civil Defense Corps for peace operation in Bama.
To complement the efforts of the Nigerian Army, the Bama initiative is being launched by the federal government. The initiative is for the Nigerian Army to train about 3,000 personnel initially of the police and civil defense corps, and will be deployed for the security of Bama local government and its environments.
For the next few days, these top military officers will be deliberating on how to maintain peace and security in the country. It is expected the resolutions reached will translate into peace and development in the country.
Meanwhile, 67 suspects have been arraigned before a high court in Umuahia, the Abia state capital, over the alleged involvement in the crisis that rocked the state recently. 7 of the suspects were arrested in Umuahia, and they've been accused of arson, killing a police officer, and burning of vehicles at a police station in Ariaria International Market. The remaining 60 were arrested in Umuahia for conspiracy, blocking the road, amongst other charges. The suspects are said to be members of the indigenous people of Biafra, but that is for the court to determine. In other news, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onnoghen, has reaffirmed the commitment of the judiciary to uphold the tenets of the Constitution as the supreme law of the land. During the conferment of the rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria on 29 lawyers, Justice Onnoghen appealed for respect of all court pronouncements by litigants, except such pronouncements are upturned by Superior Court. He also warned that the disobedience or non-compliance with judicial orders is a recipe for the breakdown of law and order.
It is the special session of the Supreme Court of Nigeria to mark the beginning of the 2017-2018 legal year. The event begins with the conferment of the rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria on 29 lawyers. One after the other, the new cells take their oath of allegiance.
That I will at all times faithfully serve the interests of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
After the oath-taking ceremony, the Chief Justice of Nigeria reaffirms the commitment of the judiciary to judiciously administer the Constitution.
I make bold to say that we will continue to uphold the tenets of the Constitution as the supreme law of the land, the rule of law, and the rights of every citizen against any form of oppression and impunity.
My Lord, the President.
With the reopening of the courts after its annual vacation, the Attorney General of the Federation calls for a review of the vacation period in order to speed up the dispensation of justice.
While the practice of a 2-month post-annual vacation is historical and has become part of our judicial system, it will appear that several litigants and persons outside the legal system increasingly see this practice as a contributory factor to the delay of cases in our courts.
The body of senior advocates of Nigeria condemns the security challenges being experienced by the nation, just as the president of the Nigerian Bar Association pledges the loyalty of the bar to a united Nigeria.
The corporate existence of Nigeria as a united, harmonious, indivisible and indissoluble sovereign nation is certainly greater than any citizen's liberty or right.
The Nigerian Bar Association wishes to reaffirm its commitment to the national unity and integrity of the Nigerian state. I believe, as many of us do, that we are better together than in our smaller enclaves.
As the Supreme Court commences the 2017-2018 legal year with renewed hope and vigor, lawyers and litigants alike are optimistic of expeditious dispensation of justice in line with the vision of the Chief Justice of Nigeria.
When the news at 10 returns, Director General of Nigeria's Debt Management Office reveals government's plan to float additional Eurobond and Diaspora Bond in the fourth quarter of 2017. But that's on Business News. Do join us again.